Taehyun Kim stood by the large window in the Defense Coalition headquarters. His hands were behind his back. His face showed no emotion, but inside, he was afraid. On the big screen in front of him, a strange ship entered Earth's sky. "Sir, the object has broken through our outer defenses," said a young officer. His voice shook a little. Taehyun nodded slowly. "Track its path. Where is it heading?" The room filled with the sound of typing as 20 analysts worked at their stations. Maps and numbers flashed across screens. A red dot moved across the biggest screen. "Seoul, sir. It's heading straight for Seoul." Taehyun took a deep breath. After 15 years of peaceful talks with other beings from space, this was new. This ship was different. It was shaped like a black teardrop and was bigger than any ship they had seen before. It had no marks or signs. It did not answer any calls. "Send the message again," Taehyun ordered. "All languages, all known alien codes. We've been sending. For the past hour, sir." No answer. The ship slowed as it came closer to Earth. It stopped above Seoul, hanging in the air like a dark cloud. It was so big that it cast a shadow over half the city. "Get me the president," Taehyun said. Minutes later, he was talking to world leaders. All agreed. Wait and watch. Do not attack first. Try to talk. For 3 days, the ship just hung there. People in Seoul looked up at the sky in fear. Some left the city. Others stayed in their homes. The world waited. On the 4th day, something happened. "Sir, there's movement," called out an analyst. "Something is coming out of the ship." Taehyun rushed to the main screen. A small part of the black ship opened. A single figure came out. It was tall, almost 3 times the height of a human. Its body was covered in what looked like moving metal. The metal shifted and changed, catching the light in strange ways. The being had 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, but that was where its likeness to humans ended. "Is it wearing armor?" someone asked. "I think the armor is part of it," another answered. The being, later named the Wanderer by the press, floated down from the ship. It landed in an empty street. Then it began to walk. "Where is it going?" Taehyun asked. The answer came quickly. "It's heading toward the military base outside the city." Taehyun felt cold fear in his stomach. "Alert the base. Tell them not to engage unless attacked. Keep trying to communicate." But the Wanderer did not stop for talk. When it reached the base, it raised one arm. A beam of blue light shot out. Buildings crumbled. Weapons melted. Soldiers ran. "It's attacking," shouted an officer. "Seoul base is under attack." "Fire warning shots," Taehyun ordered. "Above it, not at it. We still don't know what it wants." The soldiers at the base fired into the air. The Wanderer turned its head to look at them. Then it pointed at the soldiers. They fired at it in fear. Bullets hit the Wanderer but did nothing. They seemed to vanish when they touched its metal skin. Missiles were fired next. They exploded against the Wanderer, but when the smoke cleared, it stood unhurt. "Nothing works," came the report. "The bullets, the missiles, they just disappear when they hit it." For hours they tried everything. Tanks, fighter jets, even the new plasma, cannons that were still being tested. Nothing worked against the Wanderer. It walked through the base, destroying all the big weapons and equipment. Strangely, it seemed to avoid hurting people when it could. It only attacked soldiers who shot at it first. By the end of the day, the base was destroyed. The Wanderer began, walking toward the next military site. "Get me every scientist we have," Taehyun said. "We need answers." Late that night, in a secure room deep underground, Taehyun met with the top minds in the country. Among them was Hyejin Park, a physicist. She was also Taehyun's former wife. "The armor is like nothing we've seen," said one scientist. "It seems to absorb energy." "Can we overload it?" Taehyun asked. "Hit it with something so big it can't absorb it all?" The scientists looked at each other with doubt. "We could try a nuclear strike," someone suggested quietly. "No," both Taehyun and Hyejin said at once. Taehyun continued, "We don't know what it wants yet, and it's in the middle of our country. Nuclear weapons are not an option." "Besides," Hyejin added, speaking up for the first time, "I don't think it would work." Everyone turned to look at her. I've been studying the footage, she said. She walked to the screen and played a video of the Wanderer. Watch closely when bullets hit it. They all watched. The bullets seemed to vanish a few centimeters before, touching the metal skin. Now watch when a medic accidentally got close to it while helping a wounded soldier. In this clip, the medic's hand briefly came near the Wanderer's leg. The metal seemed to ripple slightly. The armor reacts differently, Yejin said. I think it responds to intent. When we attack it, the armor becomes completely solid. But when that medic got close with no weapon and no plan to hurt it, the armor behaved differently. The room was quiet. Then someone laughed. So what are you saying? We should try to be friends with it? While it destroys our military? Yejin frowned. I'm saying we need to understand it before we can stop it. And right now every attack makes it stronger. Taehyun looked at his former wife. Once, they had been the perfect team. She was brilliant, always seeing things others missed. But after they lost their child in an accident 3 years ago, everything fell apart. Now they barely spoke. What do you suggest? He asked her. Let me study it more, she said. There's a pattern to what it's destroying. It's not random. Taehyun nodded slowly. You have 1 day. Then we need a plan. Because right now we have no weapon that works on this thing. As he said this, reports came in. The Wanderer had reached another military site. More weapons had failed against it. More destruction followed. The world watched in fear as the unstoppable being continued its mission. No one knew what it wanted or why it came. But one thing was clear. Humanity's greatest weapons were useless against it. And, somewhere in a small shelter outside Seoul, a young girl named Sumin drew pictures of a tall metal man with stars in his eyes. 1 week had passed since the Wanderer first appeared. It had destroyed 12 military bases across Asia. No weapon had stopped it, not even slowed it down. In the main control room of the Defense Coalition, Taehyun looked at the large map on the wall. Red marks showed where the Wanderer had been. A line of dots showed where it might go next. It's moving toward Europe, said General Park, pointing at the map. At this speed, it will reach the Russian border by tomorrow. Taehyun nodded. Dark circles under his eyes showed he had not slept much. What about the new weapons? 5 countries are working on them now, the general said. The Americans have something they want to try today. On a screen, they watched as American fighter jets flew toward the Wanderer. These jets carried new weapons, special bombs that were supposed to create a field that would trap anything inside. If the jets dropped the bombs, they exploded around the Wanderer in bright flashes. For a moment, it looked like the Wanderer was caught in a net of light. But then the light faded. The Wanderer kept walking as if nothing had happened. It didn't. Work, someone in the room said. The words were not needed. Everyone could see it had failed. Taehyun turned away from the screen. Get me Dr. Song. Dr. Minhyuk Song was the best scientist they had. He ran a secret lab deep underground. If anyone could find a way to stop the Wanderer, it was him. Minutes. Later, Dr. Song's face appeared on a screen. He looked as tired as Taehyun. The quantum disruptor is almost ready, Dr. Song said. We need 1 more day. Will it work? Taehyun asked. Dr. Song did not answer right away. In theory, it should. It's designed to break apart the bonds that hold the Wanderer's armor together. But we've never tested anything like this before. We don't have any other options, Taehyun said. How soon can you move it to the field? We'll be ready by tomorrow morning. After the call ended, Taehyun walked to a small room next to the main control center. Hyejin was there, surrounded by screens showing data and videos of the Wanderer. Any progress? He asked. Hyejin looked up. Like everyone else, she looked tired, but there was also excitement in her eyes. Yes, she said. Look at this. She played a video that showed the Wanderer walking past a hospital. A doctor had run out to move patients away. When the doctor got close to the Wanderer, the metal on its leg seemed to shift and change color slightly. Now watch this, Hyejin said. She played another video. This one showed soldiers firing guns at the Wanderer. Its metal skin was hard and dark, reflecting no light. The armor changes, Taehyun said, seeing the difference. It responds to emotions and intent, Hyejin said. When people are afraid or angry, when they want to attack, the armor becomes completely solid. But when someone approaches with no fear, with a desire to help others, the armor softens somehow. Taehyun frowned. That's interesting, but how does it help us? I'm not sure yet, Hyejin admitted. But it's the only weakness I've found. Taehyun nodded slowly. Keep working on it. But Dr. Song's weapon will be ready tomorrow. If that works, we won't need another solution. The next morning, Dr. Song and his team set up the quantum disruptor near the path where the Wanderer was expected to walk. The machine was huge, the size of a small house. It hummed with power. We only get one shot, Dr. Song told Taehyun over the radio. Once we fire, the power cells will be drained. Understood, Taehyun said. Fire when ready. They watched from the command center as the Wanderer came into view. It walked steadily, its metal body catching the morning sun. Target locked, said Dr. Song. Firing in 3, 2, 1. A beam of pale blue light shot out from the quantum disruptor. It hit the Wanderer directly. For a moment, the Wanderer stopped walking. Its metal skin seemed to ripple and waver. It's working, someone shouted. But then the Wanderer raised its hand toward the machine. The beam of light bent, as if pulled by an invisible hand. It curved back toward the quantum disruptor. No! Dr. Song's voice came over the radio. It's redirecting the energy. The beam hit the machine. There was a flash of light so bright the cameras went white. When the picture returned, half the research facility was gone. Where the quantum disruptor had been, there was now only a smoking crater. The room was silent. On the screen, the Wanderer continued walking as if nothing had happened. Dr. Song? Taehyun called over the radio. Dr. Song, report. There was no answer. Later that day, Taehyun sat alone in his office. Reports came in from around the world. More weapons had been tried. All had failed. The Wanderer was now moving through Russia, still destroying military bases and weapons facilities. There was a knock at his door. Come in, he said. Hyejin entered. She carried a tablet computer. I've been analyzing the Wanderer's destruction pattern, she said. There's something strange about it. She showed him a list of all the places the Wanderer had destroyed. All military, yes, Taehyun said. We know that. But not just any military targets, Hyejin said. Look closer. It's only destroying bases with advanced weapons. Experimental weapons, nuclear facilities, research centers working on new military technology. Taehyun looked at the list again. She was right. The Wanderer was ignoring older military bases. It was targeting only the most advanced military technology. It's like it's disarming us, Taehyun said slowly. Exactly, Hyejin nodded. And there's more. My team has been tracking the energy readings from the Wanderer's armor. We've found something interesting. She showed him a chart with lines going up and down. These are the energy patterns when soldiers attack the Wanderer, she explained. And these, she showed another chart. These are the patterns when medical personnel got close to it while helping injured people. Taehyun looked at the two charts. They were very different. The armor doesn't just get stronger when attacked, Hyejin said. It actually feeds on aggressive energy. The more we attack it, the stronger it gets. So what are you saying? Taehyun asked. We should just let it destroy all our advanced weapons. I'm saying we need to try something completely different, Hyejin replied. Fighting isn't working. It's time for another approach. Before Taehyun could answer, an alarm sounded. An officer rushed into the room. Sir, we have reports from Europe. 5 more countries have authorized nuclear strikes against the Wanderer. Taehyun stood up quickly. They can't do that. Tell them to stand down. They're not listening, sir. They're preparing to launch in 1 hour. Taehyun and Hyejin looked at each other. They both knew what would happen if nuclear weapons were used against the Wanderer. If regular weapons made it stronger, nuclear weapons might make it unstoppable. We need to stop them, Taehyun said. And we need to find another way to deal with the Wanderer, fast. As they rushed from the room, Hyejin's tablet showed new data coming in. The armor of the Wanderer was changing again, preparing for the biggest attack yet. Taehyun spent hours on video calls with world leaders. He tried to stop the nuclear strikes against the Wanderer. "You saw what happened to Dr. Song's weapon," he told them. "The Wanderer can redirect energy. If you launch nuclear missiles, you might destroy your own cities." Some leaders listened. Others did not. They were too afraid. "We have no choice," said one European president. "This thing is unstoppable. We must try everything." While Taehyun talked to the leaders, Hyejin gathered all the data her team had collected. She asked for a private meeting with Taehyun. They met in a small room with no windows. Hyejin's hands shook slightly as she placed her tablet on the table. "You need to see this," she said. She showed him videos of the Wanderer. Each video had special colored lines around the Wanderer's body. "These colors show energy patterns," she explained. "Red is when it's being attacked. Blue is when people are nearby but not attacking." Taehyun looked closely. When soldiers fired weapons, the armor glowed red in the special view. When medical workers or civilians were nearby, it glowed blue. "We've been doing the wrong thing from the start," Hyejin said. "Every attack makes it stronger. Its armor absorbs the energy of our weapons, and even the energy of our anger and fear." "If attacking doesn't work, what can we do?" Taehyun asked. "Just let it destroy everything?" "Not everything," Hyejin pointed out. "Just our weapons, and only our advanced weapons." She paused. "I think we need to approach it differently. With no weapons and no fear." Taehyun stared at her. "You want to walk up to that thing with no protection? That's suicide." "Maybe not," Hyejin said. "Look at this." She showed him one more video. A nurse had run very close to the Wanderer to pull an injured soldier away. The Wanderer had turned its head to look at the nurse but did not attack. For a brief moment, its armor had changed color, becoming almost transparent in one small area. "I want to try an experiment," Hyejin said. "Let me take a small team to observe the Wanderer up close. No weapons, just monitoring equipment." Taehyun was quiet for a long time. Finally, he nodded. "When?" "Today," Hyejin said. "Before those nuclear strikes. We don't have much time." 3 hours later, Hyejin and 4 scientists stood on a hill. Below them, the Wanderer walked across an empty field. It was heading toward a research facility. "Remember, no sudden movements," Hyejin told her team. "No running. No fear if you can help it. Think peaceful thoughts." They walked slowly down the hill. Each scientist carried small devices to measure energy and take readings. No weapons. In the command center, Taehyun watched through cameras attached to their jackets. His hands were tight fists at his sides. The Wanderer stopped walking as Hyejin's team approached. It turned its metal head toward them. "Keep walking," Hyejin said quietly to her team. "Slowly. Think about collecting data. Think about learning, not fighting." They came within 50 meters of the Wanderer. It did not attack. This was closer than anyone had gotten without being attacked. "Taking readings now," said one scientist, looking at his device. "The armor is changing," said another. "The molecular structure is shifting." Hyejin looked at the Wanderer directly. "It knows we're not here to fight," she said. "It's curious about us." Suddenly, the Wanderer started walking again. It moved past Hyejin's team, not attacking them, but continuing toward the research facility. "Follow it," Hyejin said, "but keep your distance." They followed the Wanderer to the research facility. Most workers had already left the building, but one person remained. As the Wanderer approached, a man came out of the main door. "That's Dr. Lee," one scientist said. "Dr. Jiwoo Lee. He works on translation systems." Dr. Lee stood in front of the door. He did not run. He watched the Wanderer approach with curious eyes. The Wanderer stopped in front of Dr. Lee. Then it did something new. It made a sound. A series of clicks and hums came from somewhere inside its metal body. "It's trying to communicate," Hyejin whispered in surprise. Dr. Lee nodded slowly. He went back into the building. The Wanderer followed him. "We need to see what's happening," Hyejin said. Her team followed them inside. In the command center, Taehyun leaned forward in his chair. What is Lee doing? He should have evacuated. Inside the building, Dr. Lee led the Wanderer to a large room filled with computers and strange-looking equipment. On the main screen was a program with colorful patterns moving across it. That's the Universal Translator, said one of Hyejin's team. Dr. Lee has been working on it for years. It's designed to translate any alien language. Dr. Lee typed quickly on a keyboard. The Wanderer made more sounds. The computer processed them. Words appeared on the screen. Weapons, danger, protect, doctor. Lee typed something else. The computer translated it into sounds which it played through speakers. The Wanderer's metal body seemed to relax slightly. It made more sounds. New words appeared. Your species develops dangerous technology, must remove before destruction. For the next hour, Dr. Lee and the Wanderer communicated through the translator. Hyejin's team took readings and watched in amazement. In the command center, Taehyun relayed what was happening to world leaders, asking them again to stop the nuclear strikes. Finally, Hyejin approached Dr. Lee. What is it saying? Why is it here? Dr. Lee looked up from his computer. His face was serious. It calls itself a sentinel. It says it comes from a world that was destroyed by its own weapons long ago. It travels to different planets, looking for civilizations that are developing dangerous technologies, the same kind that destroyed its world. It's here to destroy our weapons, Hyejin said. It made sense now. Yes, Dr. Lee nodded. But there's more. It's testing us. Testing us how? Taehyun asked through the radio. It judges species by how they respond to its arrival, Dr. Lee explained. Those that only try to fight are seen as too dangerous to have advanced weapons. Those that try to understand, those that show wisdom and restraint are given a chance. The Wanderer made more sounds. New words appeared on the screen. Your weapons against me show your first response is violence. This is dangerous path. Ask it what it wants us to do, Hyejin said. Dr. Lee typed the question. The answer came back. Prove you can use technology with wisdom, not destruction. How do we prove that? Dr. Lee asked through the translator. The Wanderer was silent for a moment. Then it made a series of complex sounds. The words on the screen read, I have visited your world before, many times across your history. Some remembered me as angel, some as monster. I am neither. I am guardian of balance. Hyejin looked at the Wanderer with new understanding. It's been here before, she said quietly. Throughout human history. Watching us develop. In the command center, Taehyun spoke to world leaders again. We need to call off all attacks, he said. This being isn't here to destroy us. It's here to test us, to see if we're ready for the technology we're developing. Some leaders agreed. Others still wanted to attack. Back in the research facility, the Wanderer turned to leave. Before it went, it made one more series of sounds. The words on the screen were simple. Time is short. Choice must be made. As the Wanderer walked away, Hyejin looked at Dr. Lee. What choice? What does it mean? Dr. Lee shook his head. I don't know, but I think we'll find out soon. In another part of the world, missile silos were opening. Despite Taehyun's warnings, some countries were preparing to launch nuclear weapons against the Wanderer. The clock was ticking. Hyejin could not stop thinking about the strange marks she had seen on the Wanderer's armor. When they got close to it, she noticed patterns etched into the moving metal. They looked like symbols or writing. Back at the command center, she searched through old files on her computer. Years ago, she had studied ancient symbols found in caves and old ruins around the world. Some of those symbols had never been explained. Look at this, she said to Taehyun, showing him pictures side by side on her screen. One picture showed the marks on the Wanderer. The other showed symbols carved on a stone found in Egypt 5,000 years ago. They matched perfectly, and this, she said, showing another picture. This time the matching symbols were from an ancient site in China. What does it mean? Taehyun asked. The Wanderer told Dr. Lee that it has visited Earth before, Yejin said. These symbols prove it. It has been coming here for thousands of years, watching us develop. But why? Taehyun asked. And why attack now? Before Yejin could answer, an officer rushed into the room. Sir, we have a problem, the officer said. Russia and China have refused to stop their nuclear launches. They say the Wanderer is too close to their borders. They will fire in 6 hours. Taehyun closed his eyes for a moment. Get me on a call with their leaders. Now. While Taehyun tried to stop the nuclear strikes, Yejin went to see Dr. Lee. He was still working with the translation program, trying to understand more about the Wanderer. Have you learned anything new? She asked. Dr. Lee nodded. His eyes were red from lack of sleep, but he looked excited. The language is complex, but I'm starting to understand more. The Wanderer isn't just a soldier or a weapon. It's a survivor. Survivor? Yejin asked. Yes. Its world was destroyed in a war using advanced weapons. It was changed, merged with this armor, to become a sentinel. Its job is to travel through space, finding worlds that are developing the same dangerous technologies that destroyed its home. So it's here to destroy our weapons, Yejin said. Not exactly, Dr. Lee replied. It's here to test us, to see if we're ready for these technologies, if we can use them wisely. And if we fail the test? Dr. Lee looked grim. Then it removes the technologies, and if we resist too strongly. He didn't need to finish. Yejin understood. If humanity fought too hard to keep its weapons, the Wanderer might decide humans were too dangerous to continue developing. There's something else, Dr. Lee said. He showed her new translations on his screen. The Wanderer isn't just judging us, it's suffering. Suffering? Yejin was surprised. Yes, the armor is both protection and prison. The being inside was once, like us, a living, feeling person. Now it's forced to wander forever, stopping other worlds from making the same mistakes its world made. Yejin thought about this. So it's not a monster. It's more like a guardian, one that carries a heavy burden. Dr. Lee nodded. And there's more. According to these translations, the Wanderer's mission has rules. If a species shows true understanding of the danger of their technology, and if they demonstrate compassion rather than just aggression, they can pass the test. Compassion, Yejin repeated softly. Not weapons, not force, compassion. In the main control room, Taehyun was still talking to world leaders. Most had agreed to wait, but a few were still preparing their nuclear strikes. Please, Taehyun said, to them. We're learning to communicate with it. We're starting to understand why it's here. Give us more time. We have given you time, said one leader, and this thing keeps destroying our defenses. We must protect our people. You won't protect anyone by launching nuclear weapons, Taehyun argued. You'll only make things worse. The talks continued without progress. Time was running out. Yejin returned to the control room. We need to try something different, she told Taehyun. The Wanderer responds to intent and emotion. It can sense when we're afraid or angry, but it also responds to compassion. What are you suggesting? Taehyun asked. I want to approach it, again. But this time I want to try to connect with the being inside the armor, to show it that we understand its pain. Taehyun looked worried. That's too dangerous. We don't have a choice, Yejin said. Nuclear strikes will begin in 5 hours. We're out of options. After much argument, Taehyun agreed. Yejin would try to make contact with the Wanderer one more time. They tracked the Wanderer to its next location, a weapons research facility in Eastern Europe. Hajin and Dr. Lee flew there immediately. As they prepared to approach the Wanderer, Dr. Lee showed Hejin something on his tablet. I've been translating more of the Wanderer's language, he said. And I found this. He showed her a series of symbols. This appears many times in its communication. I think it's important. What does it mean? Hyejin asked. As best I can tell, it means redemption through understanding. The Wanderer isn't just testing us, it's looking for redemption for itself. Hyejin nodded slowly. It feels guilty for failing to save its own world. Now it tries to save others, but at a terrible cost to itself. They approached the Wanderer carefully. It was standing in front of the research facility but had not attacked yet. When it saw them, it turned. I want to communicate, Hyejin said. Dr. Lee translated her words. Through his device, the Wanderer made sounds in response. The translation appeared on Dr. Lee's screen. Why do you return? Your weapons prepare to strike. Some people are still afraid, Hyejin replied through the translator. But others are beginning to understand. We've seen the symbols on your armor. We know you visited Earth before. The Wanderer was silent for a moment. Then, I have watched your kind for many cycles. You develop quickly, too quickly for wisdom. We can learn, Hyejin said. We can change, but we need time. Time runs short, came the reply. Others like me watch, judgment comes. This was new information. There are others like you? Hyejin asked. Many sentinels, many worlds, all watching, all judging. And what happens if we fail your test? Hyejin asked, though she feared she knew the answer. The Wanderer's armor shifted, revealing glimpses of something beneath, something that looked almost human but ancient and scarred. Reset, came the simple reply. Your progress erased, begin again without dangerous technology. Hyejin took a deep breath. There must be another way. Your world was destroyed. You were changed, forced to wander and judge others. You've suffered. We can see that now. The Wanderer's armor rippled as if disturbed by her words. We're not just asking for ourselves, Hyejin continued. We're asking for you too. There must be an end to your wandering. There must be redemption not just for us but for you. The Wanderer stood very still. Its armor shifted colors, from dark black to a softer, almost transparent gray in places. Through these transparent spots, Hyejin could see more of the being inside, ancient, tired, and alone. Then from far away came the sound of jets. Hyejin looked up and saw military planes approaching. No, she whispered. They're starting the attack early. The Wanderer looked up too. Its armor immediately darkened, becoming solid again. It raised one arm toward the sky. Stop, Hyejin shouted, both to the Wanderer and to the planes, though neither could hear her. Please stop. The first missiles were launched. The Wanderer's armor glowed brightly, preparing to redirect the energy back at the attackers. War was about to begin again. And this time, the whole world might pay the price. The missiles streaked through the sky toward the Wanderer. Its armor glowed brighter, preparing to send the energy back at the planes. No, Hyejin shouted, but her voice was lost in the roar of engines. Taehyun watched in horror from the command center. Who ordered that strike? He demanded. I thought we had more time. It was unauthorized, sir, an officer replied. A local commander made the decision. The first missile was seconds away from hitting the Wanderer when Taehyun's phone rang. The screen showed a number he hadn't seen in years. It was from his daughter's old school. He answered it quickly. This is Kim. Mr. Kim, this is Principal Joe from Seoul Central Elementary. There's been a mistake with the evacuation. Your daughter was marked present when she should have been absent. Taehyun felt cold all over. What are you saying? Suman was at school. Today. We thought she was evacuated with the others, but she's not on any of the buses. We can't find her. Taehyun could barely breathe. Suman is alive? My daughter is alive? 3 years ago, they had been told Suman died in an accident, but it had been a mistake. Another girl with a similar name had died, and in the confusion, the wrong family had been told. Suman had been living with her aunt while Taehyun and Hyejin, broken by grief, had separated, and now she was missing. Where was the last place you saw her? Taehyun asked urgently. Near the research facility that was being evacuated. Some children were there for a science field trip. When the alarm sounded, everyone ran. We think she got separated in the confusion. The same research facility where the Wanderer was now, where missiles were about to hit. "Get me a helicopter," Taehyun shouted. "Now." Meanwhile, at the research facility, the first missile hit the Wanderer. As expected, the energy was redirected. The missile's explosion was sent back, hitting not the planes, but the buildings nearby. Walls crumbled, windows shattered. Hyejin and Dr. Lee were thrown to the ground by the blast. "We need to get away from here," Dr. Lee shouted, helping Hyejin to her feet. They ran toward a small building that was still standing. As they reached it, they saw movement inside. A small figure peered out from a broken window. It was a little girl about 8 years old. Her school uniform was dirty and her face was streaked with tears. "Hello," Hyejin called. "Are you okay? We need to get you out of here." The girl looked at her with wide eyes. "Are you Hyejin Park?" she asked. "The scientist?" Hyejin was surprised. "Yes, I am. How did you know?" "My dad has your picture. He looks at it sometimes when he thinks I'm sleeping." "Your dad?" Hyejin was confused. "Taehyun Kim. He's my dad. I'm Soo-min." Hyejin's legs felt weak. She reached out to steady herself against the wall. "Soo-min? But we thought you died 3 years ago." The girl shook her head. "I was with Aunt Mina. They said you and Dad were too sad to take care of me." Before Hyejin could reply, another explosion shook the ground. The Wanderer was redirecting more missile strikes. Buildings fell. Dust filled the air. "We need to get to safety," Dr. Lee said urgently, but as they prepared to run, they saw the Wanderer walking toward them. Its armor was glowing brightly, pulsing, with energy absorbed from the weapons. It raised its hand and a nearby wall crumbled, blocking their escape route. "It thinks we're part of the attack," Dr. Lee said, his voice shaking. Hyejin pulled Soo-min close, trying to shield her. "We're not attacking you," she called out to the Wanderer. "Please stop." The Wanderer kept coming. Its armor was now so bright it hurt to look at it directly. The ground shook with each step. Soo-min pulled away from Hyejin. "Are you talking to the metal person?" she asked. "Yes," Hyejin said, trying to grab her back. "But it's dangerous. Stay behind me." But Soo-min was looking at the Wanderer with curiosity, not fear. "I saw it before in the schoolyard. It didn't hurt anyone. It just looked sad." "Sad?" Hyejin asked. "How could you tell?" "Its eyes," Soo-min said simply. "I could see its eyes through the metal sometimes. They look sad, like Dad's eyes when he looks at your picture." Before Hyejin could stop her, Soo-min stepped forward. She walked toward the Wanderer as more explosions sounded in the distance. "Soo-min, no!" Hyejin cried, trying to follow her. But debris fell, blocking her path. Soo-min walked calmly toward the Wanderer. It stopped moving, its glowing hand still raised. "Hello," Soo-min said to it. "Are you lost?" "You look lost." The Wanderer's armor pulsed with light, but it did not attack. It seemed to be watching the small figure approaching it. "Mom said that when people are hurt, they sometimes hurt others." Soo-min continued, still walking closer. "She said it's because they don't know what else to do with their pain." She was now just a few meters away from the Wanderer. Its armor was changing, shifting from bright glowing colors to softer, more transparent areas. "Are you hurting?" Soo-min asked. "Is that why you broke things?" The Wanderer lowered its hand slightly. Through the suddenly transparent sections of its armor, a face could be seen, ancient, tired, and deeply sad. "It's okay," Soo-min said. "Sometimes I break things too when I'm sad." She was now standing right in front of the Wanderer. To the shock of everyone watching, she reached out and wrapped her arms around one of its legs in a hug. "I forgive you for hurting people," she said simply. "You must be very sad and scared too." The Wanderer went completely still. Its armor, which had resisted every weapon on Earth, began to change. The hard metal surface softened and opened, revealing more of the being inside. It was humanoid but ancient beyond imagining, its body marked with scars and strange technologies. It slowly kneeled down to the child's level. A hand, still partly metal but now partly flesh, reached out and gently touched Soo-min's head. A soft sound came from the Wanderer. Not the mechanical noises from before, but something almost like a voice. In the distance, a helicopter was landing. Tae-hyun jumped out before it fully touched the ground. He ran toward the scene, pushing past soldiers and debris. "Sumin!" he shouted. "Sumin!" The wanderer looked up at his approach. For a moment, tension filled the air. Then Sumin turned and saw him. "Dad," she called happily. "Look, I made a new friend." He was sad, but I think he feels better now. Tae-hyun stopped, staring in disbelief at his daughter standing calmly beside the being that had terrified the world. The wanderer rose to its full height again. Its armor was now constantly shifting, parts metal and parts transparent, revealing the being inside. It made a series of sounds. Dr. Lee, who had managed to keep his translation device, read the words that appeared. "The child understands what adults forgot. Compassion is stronger than fear." More words appeared. "Your species has potential. You. Make weapons of great power, but also possess wisdom in your children. You will be given time to grow." The wanderer reached up and touched its chest. A panel opened, revealing a small glowing object. It held this out toward them. "Knowledge." The translation read, "Safeguards for your technology. Use wisely." Dr. Lee carefully took the object. The wanderer then turned and began walking back toward its ship, which had remained hovering over the distant horizon. Before it left, it looked back once. New words appeared on Dr. Lee's device. "I will return not as judge, but as ally. When you are ready." Days later, scientists discovered that the object contained information, safeguards and ethical frameworks for developing the very technologies that had destroyed the Wanderer's world. It showed how to build powerful technologies without the risks that had led to so many civilizations destroying themselves. In a quiet moment, Tae-hyun found Hyejin watching Sumin play in the garden of their old house. "How did she know what to do?" he asked softly. "What made her approach it without fear?" Hyejin smiled. "Children often see what we miss. We were so focused on fighting, on finding weapons that would work. She saw past the armor to the pain underneath." Tae-hyun nodded, watching his daughter, their daughter whom he had thought lost forever. "The Wanderer said it would return as an ally one day." "And we'll be ready," Hyejin replied. "Not with better weapons, but with better understanding." She took his hand, something she hadn't done in 3 years. "Soman taught us all that sometimes. The strongest weapon isn't a weapon at all. It's forgiveness." As the sun set, Suman continued playing, making up a game where she was a space explorer, making friends with beings from other worlds. In her simple wisdom, she had shown that humanity's greatest strength was not in its technology, but in its heart. And somewhere among the stars, the Wanderer continued its journey, its burden lighter than it had been in countless millennia.